Basically, iRobot stock before us was $120+. After we launched our product, it tanked under $50.
Wow.
So the point is, look, there's an opportunity there. And think about it. Those products were extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Remember the ethos. I want to build products. We want to build products which is about affordable innovation. It's for middle America. We want to build quality products. It's not only the rich and famous who should be able to afford your products. It's for everyone. And that's what we did.
All right. Welcome to the first episode of the Maitsys podcast. I'm your host, Anesh Pandey, the business development manager at Maitsys. If you don't already know what we do here, Maitsys is a global IT consulting firm specialized in cloud migrations, SAP, and IT infrastructure. Today, we're thrilled to host Sridhar Solur, a seasoned tech executive and the driving force behind Kenmore Brands. Sridhar's journey includes impactful roles at HP, SharkNinja, and Comcast, where he led digital transformations and achieved remarkable growth. As the current CEO of Kenmore Brands, Sridhar's strategic vision has propelled the company to new heights, from successful product launches to expanding its presence to over 6,000 locations. Recognized as one of Inc.'s top 20 IoT influencers, Sridhar Solur is not just a tech executive, he's a thought leader shaping the future of technology. Join us as we delve into the insights of leadership, innovation, and the evolving tech landscape. Without further ado, let's welcome Sridhar Solur to the Maitsys podcast. Come on in, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
All right.
So first things first, hey, we're drinking tea. But shout out Sri. Not only is he a tech executive, he's a very good cook and tea maker.
Oh, well, this is some masala tea, and I hope it's as spicy as the podcast.
I hope so too. So to get right into it, can you share more about your current role as the CEO of Kenmore Brands and the focus areas of the company?
It's very simple. Kenmore was a part of Sears. And in 2018, Sears went through bankruptcy. And coming out of bankruptcy, it was bought over by a company called Transformco. Transformco has essentially four parts. It's a conglomerate with four parts. The first, not in any order, is there's a real estate part of the business. There is a fintech part of the business. The third piece is Sears Home Services. This is around 3,000 technicians who go in and make 80,000 visits to people's homes every week to repair appliances around the country. And then it's a brands business, which has Kenmore, Die Hard, and Craftsman. So I'm responsible for the brands business. And we have major appliances like appliances in the kitchen and laundry. In addition to that, we are also into energy appliances like HVAC, EV chargers, power walls, and we'll go deeper into the category of appliances and the transformation of Kenmore in the podcast.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. My next question to you is, with your rich background in entrepreneurship, could you walk us through your journey in incubating, building, and managing businesses globally?
Look, very early on, I fell in love with the concept of creating a new business whenever, wherever possible. I call it the immigrant mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And in the early days of HP, I could have been a cog in the wheel in the sense that in big companies, the strategy is done at a corporate level and the business units essentially executes the strategy. It's really great that you have an opportunity in a big company to play and be in different roles. So you can be in engineering, you can be in marketing, you can be in supply chain. But once you go through that, you will quickly realize that the rate of growth in a big company is actually very small. In the sense that the company itself will grow at a CAGR, which is at most linear, but seldom exponential.
Mm-hmm.
if the company and your career within a big company has to grow exponentially, you have to carve out a business that can grow exponentially. The concept of entrepreneurship is something that was imbued in me because I had this unadulterated desire to actually grow in a big company. So I went and started to create new streams of revenue and businesses. So I was an entrepreneur in residence and created a product called CloudPrint, which became really big for HP, and then went on to create the wearables business for HP, wherein we built fashion tech products for like Hugo Boss, Juicy Couture, Ferrari, Coach. And, that was my entry into entrepreneurship. But that started with entrepreneurship within the company. And since then, there has been no looking back. Every year, every 18 months, I have made sure that I'm involved or I play a meaningful role in developing a product or a service that is new to market that has that kind of a ramp up, which is an exponential ramp up.
That's awesome. So you touched on the HP wearables and cloud mobile printing business. As a founder of both of those initiatives, could you share insights into the vision behind creating the Engineered by HP to support the wearable IoT products for consumer lifestyle brands?
Look, the year was around like 2013. So close your eyes and think where you were in 2013. And 2013, Apple did not have an Apple Watch. And there were smartwatches in the industry, and we had activity trackers like Jawbone. Jawbone was a company that was valued $1 billion at that point in time. And we looked at what HP was doing. HP was doing consumer products, and we thought bringing wearables into the market might be a really fun thing to do. And a less well-known fact is HP had a calculator watch. When you get a chance, go look at it. And I think it was in the late 70s, early 80s. And we really thought, we could rebirth a watch that was a smarter watch. Inish, you're a very fashionable guy, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Most of the times. No, when I say that, what you wear is fashion. What you carry is technology. What I admire in what you're wearing today, take a look at your watch. Why do you have that watch? Is that for timekeeping?
No shot. It's just so I look cool.
Yeah. Like what you wear is fashion, what you carry is technology. And those days, the activity trackers and smartwatches really looked ugly.
Yeah.
And it would not go with any outfit. And then we very quickly realized that when you wear something, it has to evoke certain emotions. It's not about function. It is about form. And technology seldom evokes emotions. And we said, why don't we create products that can actually evoke emotions with technology? The problem with that is very simple. Technology is ephemeral. Think about it. The chipset that's really new and amazing today, in a year and a half, it's old. It's gone. That technology is gone. You put a phenomenal screen on a watch, in 2 years, that screen will look really jaded.
Yeah.
The point here is we decided that we want to make something which is a melange, and that's a phenomenal French word, which is an eclectic mixture of something that is timeless and something that has technology imbued in it. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you smile. We brought products to market for a brand like Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss stands for something that's fitted. It's a suit that you wear we're very European. And we just realized very quickly early on when we were building these concepts is those suits had an RFID tag. If we had an RFID reader in the watch, think about it. If your display could change colors based on the suit that you wore, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
And we also said we did not want to lose the timelessness of a mechanical watch with the two hands. So we started to build smarter watches. That means we had a mechanical movement, but there was a little screen embedded underneath it. And we started this revolution. We built watches for Coach. We built a ladies' watch for Juicy Couture. And, Juicy Couture is all about being blingy. And we started a wee bit of a revolution then. And I really think that took off. One of the first watches was a collaboration with an up-and-coming fashion designer called Bastian. And during the process, we worked with some of the most amazing designers around the world. And we built watches not just for the American audience, but European. And we built watches for the Indian watch company, Titan.
That's awesome. So you touched on this a little bit with your current answer, but you've emphasized a razor-sharp focus on user experience. How does this philosophy influence the creation of products, especially in the recent launch of the Kenmore built-in dishwasher lineup?
Look, anytime I have built a product, I have focused on building products for the masses. I want to make sure that it is affordable innovation. The second thing is I want to make sure any product that we build lasts for a really, really, really long time. The last thing you want to do is build products that's going to go into landfill 5 years or 6 years from now. The third thing is, the philosophy is, and the question that I have is, will I let my mom buy the product that I make? Will I ever do that? So it has to be safe.
Right.
It has to be affordable. It has to be massively easy to use. And that's the philosophy that I've carried from Comcast, SharkNinja, and now at Kenmore. So affordable innovation, accessible innovation, making sure that it's a very high quality product, and most importantly, like dead simple, very easy to use. And those philosophies are embedded into our product development.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that a tech executive like yourself is very aware of that. And I really like the mom aspect of it.
Always, your litmus test should be, will I let my mom buy my product?
That's very important. I love my mom like yourself, so I'm really glad you spoke on that. And then you touched on your work with the Titan watch brand out in India. Leading diverse teams across the world is one of your strengths, as you've shown countless amount of times. How do you recruit, develop, and lead high-impact teams, especially in the context of innovation and startup ventures? This is a question I'm personally really interested in. As Maitsys, we've just posted that we've started our brand new location about a week ago in Madurai, India. So I'm super excited. I'm blessed to have advisors to go to for questions like this, but I'd love to hear your take on this question.
Yeah. Look, there are 5 qualities of leadership, and you study that in any business school.
Right.
1, model the right behavior from the top. One of the first things that I realized is having a blue-collared work ethic.
Right.
Being the first one in the office, being the last one to punch out. There is nothing wrong in having a work ethic like that, but simultaneously highlighting health and family is always first. The second one is inspire. You want to make sure you let the people who are looking to join your group know that if they come in and work here, there is going to be career acceleration, there is going to be wealth acceleration.
Right.
And they can use this as a platform to go do amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you got to inspire. The next two are you need to enable, you need to encourage, but simultaneously, the last one is you need to be able to challenge them. Remember, a lot of learning happens outside your comfort zone.
Right.
So you have to have those leadership qualities, and you want to make sure the leaders that you hire into your organization can model the right behavior, can inspire, enable, encourage, and challenge at the right time. Having said that, I look at a mindset called the gap mindset.
Yeah.
The first one is you want to make sure anybody who comes in are phenomenally curious. They need to have a growth mindset. Learning culture, very important. That's the first one in G.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is be authentic. You want people who are genuine, authentic, and when I say authentic, I'm talking about integrity being a core value.
Mm-hmm.
And the next piece is be passionate. You want people who are like absolutely passionate about what they do.
Right.
You, from a business development perspective, your partner in crime on marketing, right? And most importantly, any subject matter expert, whether it's SAP or cloud transformation, or even AI, you want to bring in people who are genuinely passionate about the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So the first framework is the 5 parts: model the right behavior, inspire, enable, encourage, challenge. The second one is the GAP framework, which is growth mindset, authentic, and passionate. And of course, you want to make sure you bring the kind of people from an expertise, but remember, when you're hiring a diverse workforce across the board, you want to make sure like they have a growth path.
Mm-hmm.
Always put yourself in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And look at life from their point of view. And especially when you manage a team across time zones, you want to really understand and imbue what we used to call as the rotating pain culture, in the sense that sometimes it's early morning, I have to wake up really early morning, sometimes I have to stay up late, and I just don't put the burden of someone staying up late all the time on a specific set of employees in a different time zone. So we incorporated the rotating pain. And being authentic, I introduced my family to my organization. So they always know and they understand the context in which I'm operating. And in those scenarios, they expose the context in which they are operating. So you have more empathy.
Right.
So look, there's a lot to unpack to build a cross geography, cross time zone team.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts with making sure that you give people opportunity for both career acceleration and wealth acceleration. And that's something that you need to take care of. And then you have all these frameworks as you basically like recruit employees from different parts of the world.
Right. And I'm really glad that you touched on that, having the expertise you do, because there's starting to grow a new culture where these larger companies will just throw a bunch of work to their offshore offices. And sometimes it's a different type of expectation. So I'm really glad that you had that. And I'm thankful for that. So to kind of piggyback off that question, having lived and worked in many different locations around the world, how has this international experience shaped your leadership style and the strategies you employ in your roles?
All right. Look, I lived in Europe for quite some time. London, wee bit in France. I worked with a team in Sweden, India, of course, Singapore, and both coasts in the US. So I've lived, worked, and paid taxes in 6 countries.
Wow.
And that really helps when you actually recruit workforce or build products that are associated with those regions. It's very clear in July, August, if you're trying to get anything done in parts of Europe, it's almost impossible. People take their vacations very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So when you build a project plan, and when I had teams in London, a team in China, and I was operating from the US, I would factor in the vacation time of the Europeans in the summer.
Right.
Remember, most of the retail set dates and sales happen from like August through the end of December in the US.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing product development and testing, July is right before the launch time.
Yep. Yeah.
You cannot depend on your European team. You want to make sure you offload that work to the team in India, to the team in China. But the same thing happens in February, January and February, when you have Chinese New Year or you have the Mid-Autumn Festival. So if you are a leader building products with a team in Europe, in Asia, for the US market, you got to be really cognizant of the cultural idiosyncrasies of each of the regions. And then you also want to make sure that you do not burn or burden one specific region out. And that's something that I highlighted. I have seen offshore teams wherein people start to work at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. in the evening, and they work every day till like 3 a.m. And I have seen what's happened to those people after a period of 7, 8, 9 years. And literally, you mess up with their circadian rhythm. And I know people who have a twitch. These are like, in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're suffering from neurological problems. So you don't want to be responsible for that. So long story short, having lived and worked in different parts of the world, it's given me a great perspective about what kind of products to create for different regions and how to inspire, enable, and encourage the workforce to be successful, even with some of the cultural idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
So,
is there one like specific value that you picked up from being overseas?
yeah, I would say making sure that work-life balance is definitely possible, and you can still be a high performer with phenomenal work-life balance. And that's something I have seen leaders from around the world, and I have learned when to basically step back and say, look, I need to incorporate a break. And I encourage my team to like focus on work-life balance because I think when they are sincere to their time off, they'll be sincere to their work.
Makes sense. So kind of looking through what you've been doing in the last 12 months, you mentioned a complete re-architecturing of the supply chain / OEM network in the last 12 months. How has this transformation impacted Kenmore's operation, and what role does a well-managed supply chain play in the success of a company?
All right. Look, Kenmore, I'm very proud that we are going through a Phoenix moment. Coming out of bankruptcy and growing the business back, it's like a recoiled spring opportunity. Lots of brands and companies have done it. Do you know like Twinkies?
Yeah.
Hostess.
Yeah.
Go read up about, what happened to them. There's also a school bus company called Bluebird. The point that I'm trying to highlight here is we are a recoiled spring opportunity. That's point number one. Point two is all the 4 OEMs that we worked with in the past, they have their own brands.
Right.
They manufactured products for us because if they manufactured products for us under the Kenmore brand, we would place it in the Sears retail location.
Mm.
But since the Sears stores have closed, the Kenmore brands were being placed in, other retail locations. And we would be competing with their brands.
Yeah.
So long story short, right, if they basically held back on giving us supply, we would end up in a situation where we won't be able to create more products and it'll be less competition for them. So in the last 12 months, last year at this time, Dinesh, we had literally 0 SKUs flowing into our distribution center. 0.
Wow.
In less than a year, we built up an OEM network, which essentially means manufacturers.
Right.
That we didn't know a year and a half ago existed. And we now have products across the board, from kitchen and laundry and other products. So we literally rebuilt our OEM network. So we went from 0 SKUs to close to around 100 SKUs. And that is really, really big. The second one, last year, even if your life depended on it, you could not find a Kenmore product on shelf. Today, it's in over 6,000 locations in every Target, going to Walmart, BJ's, you should be able to walk out with a Kenmore product. And for the first time in 5 years, Kenmore products are available in Canada. So I can go on and on.
Yeah.
We have gone through a phenomenal transformation. It's a recoiled spring opportunity, a phoenix moment. And the best part is when the whole industry was laying people off, we were hiring, and we still are.
That's awesome.
And that's the best part of the story.
Kenmore strong, baby.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is your first time as a CEO, and you're phenomenally killing it. Just for the viewers at home, what are some steps that you took? I know you touched on a couple of them and challenges that you've overcome to do that turnaround for your company, and maybe some key deliverables that you'd like to highlight.
I'm just going to tell you one attribute. Anish, I don't think I'm a terribly smart guy. And let me explain when I say that.
Okay.
It's not like some kind of forced modesty. It's like if I were to take a test, like a standardized test,
right,
with a bunch of people, I may not be a great tester, is what I'm trying to highlight. But there is one thing that everyone can do, but most people don't do, is the power of consistency and compounding. Bear with me as I explain this. I've met with the chairman of my board every week since the day I joined the company. Every week. Between Thanksgiving and the Sunday, I meet. Between Christmas and New Year, I'm there. Come hell or high waters. And every week, I highlight to the team my goals. And I make sure that the goals for my team are also highlighted by each member of the team. So we make progress every week. To make progress every week, you have to make progress every day.
Right.
The power of compounding works in your favor. Like every day you make like little improvements. By the end of the year, you're way ahead of any genius.
Right.
So one of the key takeaways is weekly sprints. I put the whole company on weekly sprints. It's not software. It's not just a software part. It's legal, supply chain, operations, engineering, product. Everyone works on weekly sprints. And that has changed the pace of operation. That has changed the magnitude of the transformation that one can achieve. And that's a no-brainer. If there's one takeaway, be consistent and improve every day. And get a framework within your organization to improve every day. And you would be surprised within a year, you can turn anything around. And literally think about it, almost zero to 6,000 locations. It's an exponential curve.
Yeah.
And that you were asking for proof points.
Right.
We have gone literally from Kenmore products not being available anywhere to over 6,000 locations, number one. Two, an OEM network where we had 0 OEMs to like we are closer to 8. We'll end up with 10 plus OEMs. So that's proof point number 2. Proof point number 3 is 5 years ago is when Kenmore was available in Canada. We relaunched Canada. And finally, if you look at innovation, we have moved into whole home electrification, and you will see a plethora of innovative products coming into the market with the Kenmore and the DieHard brand within the next 6 to 12 months.
Awesome. So yeah, for this segment, we actually received a question from our audience related to your recent posts. Would you be open to addressing a question from one of your fans, Shane Carlin, a student at Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
All right.
Call away.
Hey, Sri, huge fan, calling from Blacksburg, Virginia. Go Hokies! My question to you is, do you have any crazy party stories from one of your successes?
Yeah. Well, we launched the Michael Bastian Smartwatch. I think it was sometime in 2014 or somewhere around that. And of course, we launched, and right after launch, when you say launch, we started selling the product, and the product quickly started to sell out. And somewhere in between, we got a notice, cease and desist, from one of the really big watch companies. And what's so crazy about this is we had not violated any patent. We were building our own product. It was phenomenally innovative. It was one of the most gorgeous products that we had built. And we had a Swiss watch company that got threatened. And, it was a cease and desist. That means we had to stop selling. And we thought the party had stopped. But we continued. And let me tell you this. We won in Basel, Switzerland, against a Swiss watch company. So the moral of the story here is, look, it's a rite of passage. Whenever you are, it's like David versus Goliath, right? When you are disrupting an incumbent, the incumbent is going to come after you with everything that they have. But if during your product development process, you've done things the right way, the party can continue. And if you get a cease and desist from an incumbent, that's a rite of passage. Just remember that. It's a rite of passage.
It's a little somewhat related, but this kind of reminds me of the scene from The Wolf of Wall Street when the SEC floods Jordan Belfort's office, and he has the infamous speech where he ends it with, "I'm not leaving." No, I'm not leaving. So it just reminds me of that. I can only imagine how the after party for once you guys kept rolling was probably a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah, but you know what? It did give me a wee bit of a panic attack.
Yeah.
Because we had put in so much effort to bring a product to market, and just because the product threatened an incumbent.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, look at the watch industry, and look at some of the players in the watch industries, before Apple and after Apple. You'll see, like, there's been a lot of disruption. So we knew that disruption was coming, and the product that we brought to market was basically got the attention of the incumbents.
That's awesome. So the term digital transformation is widely used today. It's thrown around everywhere I look, left, right, front, center. Could you share your perspective on what digital transformation means to you and Kenmore Brands?
It's very simple. you do something faster. What you do, what you're doing. I should use the word in the most inexpensive way, and more efficient way. So, in terms of digital transformation, you're going to use the tools available to you with technology to do things faster, cheaper, and that's essentially what I look at as digital transformation in today's world.
Awesome.
And of course, you'll go after creating products for the humanity that's going to change their lives.
That's awesome. In your role as CEO at Kenmore Brands, how do you see the integration of technologies such as GenAI shaping the future of consumer products, especially in the context of robotics, IoT, and AI? Could you share some insights into how these advancements influence the development of innovative products within your portfolio?
I'll just give you a couple of examples. Technology for technology's sake, you want to keep away from. You want to focus on the real issues that technologies can solve, especially with GenAI, with LLMs. The real issues that you can solve are areas where there is absolute labor shortage. I think GenAI plays a phenomenal role. And I can give you several examples where it's helped personally for my personal productivity. That's an area to work on. And look at specific problems that you can solve. Like everything about AI is not Gen AI. There are still patterns in space. Well, it's a phenomenal intersection of healthcare and AI, where imaging for breast cancer screening, for example, you could do that with thermal scanners instead of like mammograms, which are highly intrusive. So that's an example of using AI, but it's not exactly Gen AI, but it's patterns in space. Similarly, you can look at patterns in time. And basically you can have conversational UIs.
Awesome. This is a question for our viewers. What advice would you give someone who wants to be a CEO? I know it's a lot to unpack.
Wow, that's
or maybe some advice you'd give to 20-year-old Shri, maybe. But
yeah, I think it's all about enjoying the journey. In my opinion, I'm an accidental CEO. It's not like I told myself when I was 20 that I wanted to be a CEO. I had no idea. I really think when you look at being a product developer, I genuinely love creating products. I built radios, vacuum tube based radios in the late 80s, early 90s with my mom. I just believe that building products that's going to solve problems was something that is timeless. And from there, I ended up looking at building products which has a high rate of sale and high customer satisfaction.
Right.
That means I started looking at sale. And then I'm like, okay, to sell something, you need to drive awareness, engagement, and advocacy. So there is marketing I had to learn. And then to create a product which has a high rate of sale, the BOM cost, the bill of material cost has to be low. Then I said, oh my God, you got to take care of supply chain. So long story short, I just focused on creating products with high rate of sale and high customer satisfaction. And then one fine morning you wake up and say, you're a CEO, because you have to look at everything from supply chain, sales, marketing, engineering, product development. And once you do all that, you're essentially a CEO.
Right.
And you bring along the immigrant mindset.
Yep.
You basically look at anything where you see a problem set, you'll say, okay, I want to create a product to solve that problem. And I think that's how I ended up being a CEO. I think focus on solving problems, focus on meaningful impact to humanity. CEO as a title will anyway come. And at the end of the day, it's just a title. You're the architect of your destiny. Create meaningful products.
For the 22-year-old at home watching this right now, what's your first step when they log off of YouTube or LinkedIn and they walk out of their door? What's their first step they should take in order to achieving their status and becoming a CEO or a tech genius?
It's simple. Look at a problem statement and see how you can solve for that problem with the skills that you have.
Right.
And there are many problem sets today, and all you want to do is focus on a problem set that you can solve. And the deeper you go, you are essentially being a CEO of like a product that's going to solve the problem. And that product could be a service, but focus on solving problems. And there are a lot of problems in today's world. It could be, you pick any industry vertical, travel, transportation, and hospitality, whether it's healthcare, whether it's manufacturing, you can solve problems. And you solve problems with products and services, and then pick a problem set, go after it, and make sure you're passionate. And when you're passionate, you have a growth mindset, you're going to learn a lot more. And at the end of the day, that journey will be a phenomenal journey on a path for you to be a CEO.
And could you touch on how you used those frameworks when you were at your time at SharkNinja?
Wow. SharkNinja is a phenomenal company for anyone to learn product development.
And could you maybe, for the viewers at home, kind of touch on your experience there and what role you played before we kind of run into the question?
Yeah. So I joined SharkNinja from Comcast. And SharkNinja, there's one thing. You can go pick up any Shark or Ninja product, and that framework on, will I let my mother buy this product, will be a big check mark. I can tell that to you without an iota of doubt. There is no product that will come out of SharkNinja that's just focused on making money. It will always be amazing quality. But during my time at SharkNinja, one of the biggest problem statements was creating an advanced nav robot for cleaning. So Shark was looking to go up against iRobot at that point in time. And Shark made amazing vacuum cleaners. They still make amazing vacuum cleaners. And they wanted to build an advanced nav robot. An advanced nav robot basically, uses a conrow for cleaning, and then it goes back to the dock, charges, and also the problem with a robot is the dust cup is like really small. But if you had a self-evacuation robot, which would like clean, and once the dust cup is full, it goes back to the dock, empties the dust cup into a bigger bin, that would be an amazing robot. And if it could map your whole home, and if you could say, hey, just before your friends are going to come in, just clean my living room, the robot can do that. But SharkNinja was traditionally a non-tech company. I was a tech exec who was brought in. Literally, December of 2018, I remember this vividly. We had no path to have an advanced nav robot that was going to work. We had spent a lot of money, and there was no path. I was brought in at that point in time. Long story short, in a span of 9 months, we delivered an advanced nav robot product in the market. And, and that product did extremely well. It's called the Shark IQ robot. I think it went on to sell like 3 million robots. And the rite of passage. You know what happened?
What happened? You got the
you get a cease and desist, right? Yeah. From the 500-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
That's a rite of passage.
Right.
But guess what? We went through product development the right way, and we prevailed.
And you party hard.
And we won.
That's right.
Yeah, I can give you a proof point of execution. And I smile about it in retrospect. Basically, iRobot stock before us was $120+. After we launched our product, it tanked under $50.
Wow.
So the point is, look, there's an opportunity there, and think about it. Those products were extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Remember the ethos. I want to build products. We want to build products which is about affordable innovation. It's for middle America. We want to build quality products. It's not only the rich and famous who should be able to afford your products. It's for everyone. And that's what we did. And those products that we built sold in bulk. And that's just one example wherein walked into a company wherein technology, like software sprints were like kind of like unknown at that point in time. And we transformed that company. And I'm very happy to say that, SharkNinja right now is a $6.5 billion organization. And they continue to innovate and they're doing extremely well. So, I'm really happy that I was there for a small part of the journey. And I'm very grateful for my experience there.
That's awesome. To wrap things up, I wanted to say congratulations on the recent achievements at Kenmore, including the partnerships and your recent product launches. Did you want to discuss the significance of these milestones? Make a couple shout outs to team members and maybe your team's role in these achievements.
I sent a Thanksgiving email to my team, and the email basically highlighted our accomplishments. Again, as I said, Kenmore products being available in 6,000 plus locations, us going from literally 0 OEMs to 8 and close to 10 OEMs. I highlighted the Canadian launch. But the biggest thing that I highlighted is the team being in the foxhole together, facing the challenges together and prevailing. I said the biggest achievement are not the things that I highlighted, which is 6,000 locations, Kenmore product being available, or 8 to 10 OEMs, or Canadian launch. The biggest achievement is building a resilient team. Look, you played football.
I did.
Winning is a team sport.
That's true.
And always, winners actually have amazing teams. And I wouldn't be here and talking about these achievements without every integral member of the team who has basically been with us in the foxhole, fighting to win. And look, always remember, build a solid team. Build a solid team.
That's awesome. Well, Sridhar Solur, everybody, thank you for his time. They can find you on LinkedIn at Sridhar Solur. Visit Kenmore Brands, EV.
Diehard EV.
Diehard EV. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Sridhar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anish.
Yeah. All right.